It's a Fright Night, a Halloween special of the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. And as you can see, we've left our studio and headed down to the Big Blue Tent in Cardiff, where it's Game 2 of the weekend between the Devils and the Coventry Blaze. It was Coventry that held a 2-1 advantage after last night's game at the Sky Dome Arena. So Jared Adams, the Devils coach, will be looking to get his team back on track again here this evening. Before that, though, we've got plenty of highlights from around the league. And we'll start off with last Friday's double encounter. In Braehead, the Clan entertained the Nottingham Panthers, whilst at the Odyssey Arena in Belfast, it was Game 1 of 2 of the Giants versus the Sheffield Steelers.
Part 1 of this doubleheader as the leading two teams in the league table at the time went head-to-head in the Odyssey Arena. Strong skate from Michel, and the final touch in front of the net on his backhand was Jonathan Phillips. So 9 minutes and 8 seconds gone in the second period. We see Belfast 1-0 behind in the Odyssey Arena. Then Danny Mice just rings the puck around the boards there. Murphy, when he goes to get it, thinks he's going to really have time, but doesn't. And jumping onto that play was Ashley Tate for Shields in the slot. So 2-0 it becomes at 12:47. And the home side really are stunned. Things really turning in Sheffield's favour when they get goal number 3 right in the slot with Shields. Phillips and Limbright with the assist that time. 3-0, 18:37 gone in period 2. Belfast, where was their response? Could they get back into the game? Well, on the power play, Fournier and Rycroft combine, and it is Darryl Lloyd in the slot. That's 3-1, third period action now. We have 15 minutes remaining. Is there time for Belfast to make a fight back? No, doesn't look like it, does it? LeGuy and Shields this time combining. That's goal number 2 for Phillips. So Phillips and Shields have 2 goals apiece now going into the final closing moments of the game. Belfast coming forward at one end, but it's snuffed out, and Sheffield now coming forward at the other. Chance for Phillips to get his hat-trick. He is, though, hauled down there by Colbert, and we see a hooking penalty called on Colbert there. So it's going to be a power play for the Sheffield Steelers, and a chance for them to get goal number 5. Colbert goes to the box, and watch this play. Face-off win by LeGuy, straight to Fata, and tipped in by Shields for his hat-trick. A great start to the weekend for the Steelers and their fans. Final score, Belfast 1, Sheffield 5.
Braehead went into the game without Krestanovich after his wife gave birth to their first child. Nottingham had Fox and Weaver back in the lineup, and Weaver there scoring the first goal of the game. Things got even better for Nottingham when Francis turns Gallivant's goal-bound shot into the net, and it was a first period lead of 2-0. Into the second period then, bit of aggro in front of the net. Guy Lepine getting involved with Drew Miller. Don't think Lepine gave him much option. The two of them go toe-to-toe for a short while. Miller with number 9 on his back in Braehead's Think Pink shirt. And there was over £8,000 raised in the Braehead Arena last Friday for breast cancer care. That's a fantastic amount. So period 2, in terms of Nottingham's dominance, when it got stronger. Ling there with a 3rd goal for the Panthers, the 9th of the year for him, and a 3rd goal on the night to put Nottingham well ahead. Then exchanging passes at the points with Gallivant and Fox, and it was 4-0 Nottingham. The Panthers had lost their last 3 away from home. Braehead had a 100% winning record at home, but it was Nottingham all the way at this stage. Again, a bit of push and shove more this time. It's Lepine who comes over, and Zajac gets involved after Farmer initially had done some pushing and shoving, and the two of them start to tussle. The linesman stepping in on that one. So Nottingham 4-0 ahead and very much in control. And it improved for them even more. And we weren't even at the midway point of the second period. Good movement from Ling and Francis, and Gallivant has all the time in the world. So at 29-18, it is 5-0 to Nottingham. Braehead did get on the score sheet. It was a goal for the former Panther, Jade Galbraith, who often scores against his former club. But it ended Braehead 1.
Well, you'd have certainly got good odds on 2 5-1 road wins for the Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers on Friday night. The Braehead Clan, well, they're a completely different team without Jordan Krestanovich in their lineup. Let's jump forward now. Gardner Conference action. Chris Ellis will talk you through it.
Sit back and enjoy a 9-goal thriller. There were 69 shots on goal in this one, and it was the visitors who took the lead. Dutium and Stewart combined down the left, And the final touch from Dutium. It was 1-0 to the Five Flyers. The backhand shot there going underneath Ben Bounds. And 1-0 then after just 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Goal number 2 came at 6:43. Dutium mopping up the rebound. Caribou and Haynes getting the assist on that goal. So the visitors 2-0 ahead in the Hull Arena inside the first 7 minutes. But the Stingrays came back. Otterlands and Silverthorne, great 1-2 up the ice, passing between themselves, and they score at 8:50. A 10th of the year, a very productive year for Otterlands. It's a 1-goal game, still in the first period though, and more scoring coming back the other way. Wilson and Keller combining, a neat finish from Gunn. That's 18:02 gone, 3-1 to the Five Flyers, and they're set to take a very good first period lead. Bounds has beaten for a third time. You can see the disappointment on his face. Into period 2, and a 3-on-1 break was converted by Tendler. Where were the Hull Stingrays' defence? They were nowhere. It was a period where Hull Stingrays outshot Fife 18-3. So no surprise that they took control in this period to level up the game. Osman there with goal number 7 of the year. Power play this one at 35:04. So 3-3 at the end of 2 periods, and we're going to period 3. It was a real topsy-turvy game, and also there was a tussle. A dropping of the gloves is about to happen, and here we go. This is Jason Pitton against Andre. 2 of them takes time to get going, doesn't it? And then the linesmen get involved. Now period 3 has a terrific start. Sloppy though by the Five Flyers, and there we have a goal for the host just 6 seconds in. Cloutier setting up Tendler. So it's now Hull Stingrays in the lead. Now back at the other end in period 3, Jason Pitton gets the assist. There's so many players trying to get onto this loose puck. It takes an age to go in. Ben Bounds makes a number of saves, but finally, on what seems like the 5th rebound in that play, Haynes levels up. So we're at 4-4. Again, just going under Bounds. It was a busy night for him. And then, 33 seconds later, Otterlands and Silverthorne combine. It is Silverthorne with the crucial pass, and there is player coach Cloutier to get the winning goal. Final score, Hull 5, 5-4. It was a stunned Odyssey Arena on Friday night, so Belfast needed a spark on Saturday. And they looked to Adam Keefe, who took his gloves off and challenged Tom Sestito for a fight. You can see him here. He's not happy that Sestito didn't go, so 4 seconds in, a delay of the game minor for Keefe, and nothing for Sestito, who just did not want to go. Now, tripping penalty there. You see Lloyd go down, tripped by Jonathan Phillips. This is now 2nd period action. So a chance on the power play for the Belfast Giants. And they have time, and they're patient. Good movement around. All the players on the ice getting involved. And that finishes from Noah Clark, a one-timer. Sandrock and Fournier with the assists. 25:01, Belfast Giants ahead at home, of course, coming 24 hours after they'd lost to the Steelers in their own barn by 5-1. So really crucial, these points for the Belfast Giants, just to get back into the weekend and get some momentum. Once again, the Belfast Giants coming forward. Rycroft in the corner, Fournier from behind the net, and the first goal, the former Cardiff man, Matt Toe. He scores. The time of that one, 46-12. 2-0 Belfast, and they look on their way to making amends for Friday night's performance, and they have a 2-goal advantage going into the closing stages. But there was time for another goal for the Giants before even the halfway point of the 3rd period. Big hit on Thomas there, just behind the net, and the final touch on the backhand is from Roberts, a 3rd of the year for him. A 25-shot shutout for Murphy, and a vital win for the Giants. Final score, Belfast 3, Sheffield 0.
So 2 convincing wins in Scotland for the Nottingham Panthers. The Belfast Giants and the Sheffield Steelers, well, they share the spoils. And back-to-back home wins for the Hull Stingrays. That's good news for them. Well, the Coventry Ablaze are about to arrive. And once they've got off the bus, we'll be speaking to their NHL star, Matt Bolesky. Plenty to get through in our next section, so don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. As you can see, I've been joined by Brent Pope of the Cardiff Devils, and before we look at the highlights from last night's game between the Devils and the Blaze, the season so far for Cardiff, it's been exciting to say the least, hasn't it?
It has. A lot's gone on. It's a big year for us as we get ready to go into the new arena in 2014-15, but we started really well, and then maybe a little bit of us finding our feet. We've had to release a player, but I think consistency is what we're calling on, and I still think we need that and probably a higher performance level.
One player's gone out, but a couple of players that have come in and made a real impact. Blight and Faulkner, everybody's talking about them.
Well, even particularly Faulkner. I mean, he's a driving engine. He and Blight run alongside each other, and they probably bought the rest out of Max Beerbreyer again, who 6-7 months ago has got a broken neck, and we think his career's over. And between Faulkner and Beerbreyer and Blight, they're carrying the load for us offensively.
Well, let's see how big Max and his team got on at the Skydome Arena. Challenge Cup action on Saturday evening. Chris Ellis will talk you through it.
Back-to-back Challenge Cup action then for these two sides over last weekend. The first game in the Skydome in Coventry, and Cardiff coming forward first period, and the setup from Faulkner for Max Beerbreyer, a 9th of the year for him, and the first goal of the night with 24 seconds to go in period 1. To period 2 then, and Coventry had 10 attempts at goal. Here Mike Shute goes close, the defenceman. What a find he's been by Paul Thompson. A great addition to the Coventry Blaze. At the other end, Max Beerbreyer, well, he goes and taps Peter Hirsch. Olsen doesn't like it and tells him so. This may be a sign of things to come across the weekend for these two sides. All players getting involved, but more at this stage, it's wrestling. Anyway, Coventry were behind, but not for long in the second period. This is a lovely goal from Shea Guthrie. Look at that move on the defenceman, and it is now 1-1. That's a great solo goal, and Coventry are level in the second period. It got better for them. Bradley dumps it into the corner, and there's a race to see who can get the puck out of that corner. Cardiff can't clear the zone with Josh Batch, and you're about to see another terrific goal. Shute comes away from Beerbreyer. That's another lovely goal, and the game-winning goal on the night. Final score in the Skydome: Coventry 2, Cardiff 1.
A very important victory for the Coventry Blaze, but Brent, that's put the Cardiff Devils in a little bit of a sticky situation, presently bottom of the Challenge Cup group.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it makes the game tonight even more important, but it's a tough group this year. Obviously, kind of the group of death. There's top 4 going through, but the Devils have been good in this competition in recent seasons, but at the moment really need something from tonight's match.
You have that game in hand, and I guess if you can collect 2 points there, it kind of puts Hull Stingrays in a dicey situation.
It does, but I mean, you look at last night, I think it happens in the league play and Challenge Cup. You go into a game and one goal makes a difference. One goal can get you 2 points, a maximum, or it gets you nothing, So it's really shades of grey, and we have to make it count. And when you're just talking about 1 goal margins, one little trip up, one mistake, and you're out of the group.
Yeah, 1-goal games. We've seen so many of them in the Elite League this season. Another one last night. Cardiff, though, got off to the better start.
They did. I mean, it's an early goal, well, at the end of the first period from Beerbreyer, as we're talking about, but Guthrie, who is back for Coventry, and then Goodice is a strong player that Tomo's brought in as well, who finds a way to put the puck in the nets. And it's just, like I said, it's those small things at the moment, and I think all the teams that are sitting in the top half of the Elite League and the Challenge Cup in our group are finding it difficult to get points and know how important it is to maximize every night 60 minutes.
We've just been talking off camera, weren't we, about Big Max, Beerbreyer, whatever we call him. He's so important to the Cardiff Devils, especially in this building. Last week we saw him get those 2 against Nottingham. Oh,
it was a huge game. It was a game where we didn't look like scoring. They were up 1-0 for 40 minutes, and then Max finds a way to score a goal on a 5-on-3 power play. But then he scores another one by just taking a chancing shot from a goal line angle, and he finds Kowalski out. So, Max is one of those kind of forgotten guys. Shouldn't be, but there's a guy who's gone through, as we talk about, a career potential-ending surgery last year, and then continues to be the guy here for us in Cardiff under the radar, and continues to score.
Okay, big game players. Beerbreyer for the Cardiff Devils. Maybe Matt Bileski for the Coventry Blaze. The EIHL from the Anaheim Mighty Ducks has just arrived in the big blue tent, and I'm going to catch up with him. Well, for the last 3 or 4 weeks on the Elite League show, we've been talking about the NHL players coming over to the Elite League. Our first opportunity to speak to one of them, Matt Bileski, who of course plies his trade in Anaheim, and I guess Cardiff's a little bit different to Anaheim, but an ice pad's an ice pad wherever you play.
Yeah, it's hockey, that's for sure, and that's what I'm here to do, and I'm glad to be back playing.
Yeah. With all due respect, you'd much rather be playing back home right now. Everybody can understand that. But what was the reasoning and the mythology of actually getting you over here in the first place? Why are you here?
You know, I've been sitting at home. This is the first time in 20 years I haven't been involved in a hockey season. So you know, hockey's what I want to do, and that was the main point in coming over. And you know, it seemed like a good opportunity in Coventry, and I just tried to take advantage of it.
Just explain to us how a move like that comes about. How did you end up in Coventry?
You know, we were looking around. We've talked to a few different teams in different leagues, but it just seemed like the right fit. A friend of my dad's knew Paul, and started talking. And you know, the game here is more of a North American style, which I think suits me. So it was a good move.
What are your early indications? How have you found it? Has it surprised you, or is it exactly what you expected?
No, it has surprised me. You know, I knew it was going to be a good competitive league, but you know, the intensity, the fans, everything, it's been great. It's been very fun so far.
Yeah, and the players you're playing with, of course, are pretty good players. You've got probably a couple of thousand American League games down in that dressing room.
Yeah, you know, they are very good players, and some of them I've played against all my way up, and some I've watched play before. So it's a good group of guys.
Yeah. How hard is it to you to judge how long you'll be here and how you go about your Blaze career as such? Because you could be gone tomorrow, you might be here till Christmas. Is that an awkward situation for you find yourself in?
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, but it's also, you know, I'm someone that try and make the most of everything. So while I'm here, I'll just try and get better, work on my game, and you know, if it's tomorrow or it's the end of the season, who knows? But I'll enjoy my time while I'm here.
What's the difference between playing for Anaheim and playing for Coventry? I would imagine minutes on the ice is one of them.
Yeah, definitely. You know, here I'm playing 20 minutes plus, and I'm usually more a 10 to 13 minute guy. So it's, you know, I think that's good for me to play those minutes and be in the situations, power play, and that'll definitely help my game.
Yeah. The late Wade Belak, of course, at the last lockout played for the Coventry Blaze, and I remember him saying to me that it actually helped him as a player. He found himself in different situations in a funny kind of way. Could that be the same with yourself?
Yeah, you know, it's good to be able to play those situations, to play 5-on-3s, penalty kill, power play. It's going to only make you better, so I'm excited about that.
How have you been received in that dressing room? As one of the guys straight away?
Oh yeah, that's a great group of guys in that dressing room. They treat me just like one of the guys, that's for sure.
And as we walked up these stairs, you said, "Oh, smaller ice pad. I like the smaller ice pad." So you expect plenty of contact here tonight.
Yeah, of course. You know, North American style, it's smaller ice there, so it's. I think this will be a rink that I'll like to play in.
Okay, well, however it goes tonight, and however long you're here, welcome to England, welcome to our league, and thank you for coming here.
All right, thank you very much.
Anaheim to Coventry. Yeah, that's some move, isn't it? The EIHLers, seem to have had a big impact. Certainly the 4 clubs that have signed them seem to be reaping benefits from them.
Well, I think in the age of social media, everybody's talking about it, and everyone's well aware of the players coming here. And I do think it's a good thing for raising the profile of our sport here in the UK. But I think 2 different things. I think unless the players come over here and are really keen to make sure that they can make a difference for their teams, sometimes I think they get a little bit of an overbilling. And it'll be interesting to see what Bileski does tonight. Yeah,
well, Bileski's certainly going to have to work hard. He is a grafting kind of player, isn't he? And in this building, there is no hiding place at all, is there?
No, it's an energy building, and particularly here in what we call the Big Blue Tent. It's loud, it's emotional. We take on Coventry, we expect that as well. We've already seen fireworks this season between these 2 teams, and tonight I don't expect will be any exception. And particularly with Bileski, I think he's got a little bit of a history with Didi Umiti from juniors, and whilst Bileski may not feel he has anything to prove, everyone in the building will be interested to see what he does tonight.
What makes this rivalry so special, Brent? We talk about Sheffield, Nottingham, and in Scotland they talk about, you know, the Dundee Stars and the Five Flyers as big rivalries, but this is as intense and as nasty as any of them, isn't it?
Well, I think there's a lot of respect. I think that Cardiff fans probably are a little bit frustrated that they don't have or haven't had the recent success that Coventry has had. Coventry have done extremely well. They've been a fairy tale franchise, but they've come into a little bit of a difficulty as well, and I just think it's proximity, but I do think there's a level of nastiness, and I think both fans are equally willing to stir it up with each other, which I think brings it out onto the ice for the players. And then it's not ever been an organizational thing, but because we in many ways are shaped very much the same size, very much the same sort of business model, both operated rinks by Planet Ice, and we do the best we can to make sure we're successful on the ice.
Would it be fair to say that both teams as well kind of epitomise their coaches? Both coaches are grumpy, miserable old men, aren't they, when things don't go their way, and their teams play in that nasty, gritty style?
Well, Jared has done an exceptional job here as a coach, and particularly as a player coach. It's that additional challenge that I think sometimes gets underestimated, just how important or how challenging that role can be. But Jared's been exceptional here, as Tomo has too, you know, and Tomo has been able to really create a niche for himself as a real coach's coach and a real tactician, where I think Jared has always led as a player through his personality and his character, and that's what Cardiff has embodied.
Okay, well, it's Adams versus Thompson. It's the Devils versus the Blaze, and you'll be able to see it after this break, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. It's game time in the big blue tent. Last night at the Sky Dome, the Coventry Blaze 2-1 victorious over the Cardiff Devils. Jared Adams wants payback. Chris Ellis, can he get it?
An important night for many reasons. Cardiff needed a win to kickstart their cup campaign. They're in danger of going out of the group stages. Coventry knew a win would put them in the quarter-finals. A power play for the Blaze. Beleski, the EIHL, gives it away, and then one-on-one, Captain McRae. Lovely short-handed goal that. 8:46 gone, and we see Cardiff Devils leading the Coventry Blaze by 1-0. Now Cameron working well right-hand side. The power play here really at its best. In fact, the power play, which was conceded on moments earlier, well, Cameron then ghosting at the back door. The other assist to Guthrie and Egner. So it's 1-1. It's a 1-all hockey game. You see how much space he had there, Cameron, and how happy he was. So the game is level, and it was feisty early on. Maybe a sign of things to come. You're going to see plenty more bits like this. All the players just having a word with each other. It was feisty on Saturday night too in the Sky Dome. And as I say, maybe it just began to boil over as the game went on. Chance there from the left-hand side for Beleski. At this stage still looking for his first Coventry Blaze goal. Now the Blaze at one end were attacking, strong work on the boards from Jurdies, and then it was Josh Batch who just managed to shepherd the puck away. But the Coventry Blaze were attacking at one end, and then they found themselves defending at the other. Ben Davies, shot towards goal, bounces down nicely, and look, you think that the Blaze are going to clear their lines. They can't do so, and Davies has a chance in front of net and can't get the puck away. But the penalty is called on this play. Jurdies going to the box. 2 minutes for interference. Sticks his tongue out there for good measure as the crowd are giving him the bird. So at this stage, the game is 1-1 and really nicely poised. Chance for Blight there from the right-hand side, but the save is made there by Hirsch. The game remains at 1-1. It really is an open game. It really is anyone's game at this stage. Into the offensive zone goes Faulkner. Faulkner, the league's leading goal scorer. Chances. Cameron goes at the other end. End-to-end stuff in the game. Throughout the game, there was 71 shots on net. And here's another one. Just in front of the net was McRae. A chance for him. And on this play, Olsen caught 2 minutes for cross-checking. So the penalty minutes, the 2-minute minors, were beginning to build up. Shot from Kenton Smith there. Davis again. A number of players just bearing down on the Coventry net. But Cardiff at this stage can't find a way through. And remember how important it is for them. They need a win to really kickstart their campaign. Now coming forward again at this end, Coventry Blaze. Just there on the right-hand side, you saw Piggott. Well, he goes for a 2-minute minor. So Cardiff go on the penalty kill. But remember, earlier in the game, they scored a lovely goal, short-handed, through Stuart McRae. That gave them the lead at that time. Now Coventry piling pressure on the net, but it's almost like deja vu. Breakaway from McRae. This time he has to cut him from the left. That's a lovely, lovely finish from the Cardiff Devils captain. So the Blaze have fallen 2-1 down. The Devils are winning. Those fans are thrilled because they know how important a win is. A lovely finish. You see that on the replay. It's 2-1 to the Cardiff Devils in their own barn, and they're coming forward once more. A chance for Faulkner trying to get things going left-hand side, but forward come the Blaze. Can they get a leveller? That's offside, but the two of them, that was Ben Olsen there, getting in a bit of a muddle, so Coventry unable to get that chance towards net. Then at the other end, Kenton Smith goes close. Piggott as well on the backhand. He's now out the box. You can see how angry he was with himself with a chance to get Cardiff. Well, that would have been a 3-1 advantage. Now into the offensive zone come the Blaze once more. A chance for Cameron in front of the net. So it stays at 2-1 Cardiff. And the Blaze come forward now. Right-hand side with Bolesky. Cuts inside, almost away from 3 challenges. That's a lovely goal, and Coventry are level. What a way to open your account for the Coventry Blaze. You'll see on the replay how good this goal is. He is so strong as those players come to challenge him. It is now 2-2. We are level. Don't forget, overtime and penalties now in Challenge Cup games. There has to be a winner on the night. Chances again for the Cardiff Devils in front of the net. But Coventry now come forward at the other end. But then there's a bit of a tussle and a bit of a pile-on. And you're going to see from the replay why. And this is why Max Beerbrier gets a 5-match penalty for cross-checking to the head. See, there's an incident here. Olsen and Beerbrier. Beerbrier goes down. Play goes into the corner. And then Beerbrier gets back up. And this is what was adjudged by the disciplinary committee to be a match penalty. It was called on the night as a match, and with it, a 5-match ban. That was the first of the incidents. Off the ice goes Beerbrier to the dressing room. So at this stage, it's 2-2. And the Cardiff Devils have lost their influential player, Max Beerbrier. So Coventry have a chance. The clock is running down, and it's strong work behind the net, and out in front is Guthrie, the assist for Shoot behind the goal. You see him there, very strong, just brings it out in front. And the game-winning goal from Guthrie, a 7th of the year, unmarked in the slot, 3-2, the Coventry Blaze win. So now to the handshakes. And this is where things get interesting. You'll see, just in the far side of your picture, Ben Olsen and Francis. That's where it starts. Well, Devon Didiamiti goes in, and here starts a tussle. The two of them go toe-to-toe, and this is a good old scrap. 2 players sticking up for each other. Things were to follow after this, but they are going through the punches. There's some big punches there by Olsen with his right. Paul Thompson, you see in the background, the Coventry coach, screaming at the officials, making his point there. And this fight continues. They're looking tired now because it's been a long scrap. Now off goes Didiamiti, but you see there in the background, Beerbrier shouting. He comes over and gets involved once more. Francis too, and then Didiamiti. And you saw match penalties for Francis, and also another one for Beerbrier, and Ben Olsen too, for an incident with a spectator. But this is what some of the people involved thought about it.
Matty, we'll talk about the incidents after the game in a moment, but a very important 2 points for the Coventry Blaze sees you through to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, no, that's our target this year, to progress in the Challenge Cup. I think it's been 5-6 years since we've gone past the group stages in the Challenge Cup, so now we're happy with the 2 points today. And
a great third period fight back as well.
Yeah, I think second period we were a little bit sloppy at times. It was a great first period, and then I thought we pulled it back really well to get the win in the end.
Lots of talking points. Talk us through how you saw the incident between Ben Olsen and Max Beerbrier at the end.
I saw the face-off. I was watching the sentiments, and then I saw Beerbrier was down on the ice, and the ref didn't call anything. Play goes on. Beerbrier gets up, and then he just jumps Olsen, and somehow Olsen managed to get a 2-minute tripping penalty out of it. So that's all I saw, and I thought Beerbrier just jumped him.
And then at the end, post-game, after the handshakes, it's been a while since I think either of us have seen anything quite like that. What was your view? What did you see?
I didn't really see what started everything off, but it goes off from on the bench with Olsen and Francis, and then Didiamiti comes in, and Olsen and Didiamiti does a good job having a scrap. Everybody backs off, and then it was just mayhem. Everybody got in there from off the Cardiff bench, and yeah, it's a tricky one to really figure out what happened, so it's unfortunate, but at the same time a bit exciting.
Been exciting and all okay when it happens on the ice, but it has ramifications when it comes off the ice, and we saw one of your players, Ben Olsen, get involved with a fan. Again, views on that?
Yeah, that should never happen. This area down here in any rink where the players should be able to just come off without getting any hassle from the fans. It's a couple of rinks where the fans can get too close to the players, and if that happens and fans going for the players, they're going to have to pay the consequences when they come down here. So that's down to security to make sure the guys can come off the ice safely.
Your coach, the Cardiff Devils coach, are in with the referees and the officials. Early to say, it's only a few minutes since the game had ended, but I think we're all expecting some fairly severe ramifications.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. No, I mean, it's one thing when something happens in game play on the ice during the game, but after the game in a handshake, no, I mean, it should all be done and dusted. Then just the winners be happy to go off, the losers be a bit grumpy because they lost, but it shouldn't go to this. But I can see a couple of big decisions being made tonight.
Franny, you and I have been involved in this game for a fair few years, but it's been a while since we've seen incidents like that post-game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you play 2 games back-to-back and, 2 physical teams, but there was quite a few incidents over the weekend that we weren't happy about. There was a baseball swing to the back of Max Beerbreyer's legs last night, there was a boarding call, and then Matt, I tell you what, he doesn't jump the toughest guy in the league for a 2-minute tripping penalty.
Now, I saw Beer go after Olsen. I didn't see what happened before that. From the Cardiff bench, what did happen before?
Yeah, well, I spoke to Max just now, and he said that he had a butt end to the face. It's not the first guy to get hit in the face over the weekend. Chris Blight's playing with a broken nose right now. It's the same 2 guys, Egner and Olsen, that are throwing these shots out there. And like I said, you don't have a skilled guy like Max Beerbreyer jump the toughest guy in the league for a 2-minute tripping penalty.
I've just interviewed Matty Soderstrom. I'm now interviewing you. The 2 head coaches are in with the referees right now. Are you expecting ramifications, suspensions moving forward?
Yeah, probably. That's the way the way that these things follow. Who knows what they're going to throw at us here, but yeah, we expect a few.
The crazy thing is, it comes at the end of a great game of hockey, end to end, very exciting. Fans were going home, entertained, if not happy from a Cardiff point of view. It was a good game. Yeah,
it was. They were 2 good games over the weekend. They were 2 really close games. Very good matchup on the teams, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's why we play the sport and we watch the sport for the excitement, and sometimes it bowls over.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. I'm sure you've got plenty to get on with now.
Okay, thanks.
Shay, I'm sure the headlines will be about what happened after the game, but let's start off with what happened in the game. A great fight back from Coventry and 2 very valuable Challenge Cup points.
Yeah, for sure. It was big 2 points that we wanted to get, and it's a hard-fought win. Again, against Cardiff, you're going to have to bring your A game and work hard, and the boys got it done tonight.
Yeah, Bileski hadn't scored coming in here. Got a real big goal for you to get it back to 2-2, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a monkey off his back. He's had some good chances, and he's a hard-working kid. So to get that one means a lot for the team and for him, and hopefully he'll keep scoring as we go forward here.
Talk us through the 2 incidents. The first one involving Beer and Olsen.
Yeah, from what we saw, I mean, Beer, it was dirty. He got a stick up, and Ollie's lucky he didn't take it on the chops. He took it in the helmet. But that's that's unacceptable kind of play in this league. Guy getting a stick up like that, unexpected on a guy, and it's too bad that stuff has to happen. As for the second incident, I mean, it's unfortunate that stuff has to take place after the game. We should just leave the ice, but there was an incident at the bench. Their coach said some stuff and then took a swing at our player. So we're going to back each other up on the ice, and that's what basically happened.
Stuart, I'm sure all the talk's going to be of the post-game incident. Talk us through the game at first, though. You came from behind and then went ahead, perhaps chances to win it.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good weekend of hockey, actually, back-to-back. Home, one up there and one here. It was 2 good games. It felt kind of like playoff hockey, low scoring. Unfortunately for us, they came out on the top in both games.
It was bubbling, wasn't it? After the Beer-Olsen incident, it was bubbling, and then obviously spilled over at the end. What did you see, and how did you see it all develop?
Well, I think it all started in the handshake, and I mean, that's something that I think they might want to look into. I'm not sure if that's such a good idea when you play teams so many times a year, but anyway, that's for a different day, I guess. But I think that's kind of where it got started, and it just escalated from there. Yeah,
I'm sure you agree. It's not a place, is it, for hockey when it spills over off the ice?
No, there's you just can't do that. I mean, no matter what a fan says to you or even a coach, I mean, you keep it on the ice, and that's just kind of an unwritten rule. Yeah.
The rivalry between the Coventry Blaze and the Cardiff Devils is fairly legendary already. I suppose it's only going to enhance that now, but perhaps in the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there that'll be looking forward to the next few games. Hopefully we can keep it just physical, tough hockey on the ice, and it doesn't run into the crowds. Yeah. Max looked a little injured when he went off. Is he okay? Are there any injuries to report from tonight? I'm not too sure. I haven't. As far as I know, I think he's all right.
A 3-2 win for the Coventry Blaze against the Cardiff Devils in that clash. Join us after the break and we'll have the rest of the action from around the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League. Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. What a night in Cardiff. The Coventry Blaze victorious 3-2, guaranteeing them a place in the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup. But Brent, I'm sure the headlines are going to be about things that happened post-game. Let's start off with the game itself. It was a cracker, wasn't it, end to end?
It certainly was. I think, definitely Cardiff, we wanted to get something from the match, something from the weekend, unable to get anything from either of the two games. And so, I think escalation, when you play back-to-back games, home and away and back-to-back nights, you've got emotions and you've got carryover from last night. And I think it just shows you just how desperate both teams were to get points tonight.
Two major talking points in this game. Of course, the first one was the Brabia incident with Olsen. I have to be honest, I just saw Brabia attack Olsen, but I've known Max for a number of years. He doesn't attack a guy without some provocation. Did you see what happened before that?
I didn't actually. I mean, at the end of the day, Max Bierbreyer is a guy who scores goals for us, and whilst he's willing to get involved sometimes in altercations, it wouldn't have been without being provoked. So, you don't always see what happens, and it's for the referees. We got 4 of them here tonight in Challenge Cup game to keep an eye out. But unfortunately, sometimes players end up having to take justice in their own hands, and they deal with the things. And tonight was a night where it spilled over and it got a little bit crazy at the end. Did
get crazy at the end, didn't it? I was down here just in between the benches when it all kind of kicked off. At the handshake, I haven't seen that happen for a number of years.
No, I know. It's an incident where you actually think it's kind of like you're, once the handshakes happen, it's like standing for the national anthem. We expect a moment of respect and regard, and I think just emotions had just got too much, and it got a little bit crazy. It got even a little crazy with the fans here as well, as far as their involvement, and I wish it had been a little bit more tidy finish of the game, but it's good emotion and it created a lot of interest.
It was building up though. We're experienced people, we've been around this a while, and you can feel it. Maybe in hindsight the referees would have said, guys, let's just get you off the ice.
Yeah, it's hard to manage though, isn't it? So, I mean, once you get that many guys wanting to be involved, sometimes it just takes its own shape. So that's what happened tonight, and we just got to pick up the pieces tomorrow.
And when tomorrow came, the Elite Ice Hockey League disciplinary panel confirmed the following. The match penalty against Coventry defenceman Ben Olsen has been squashed. No suspension to be served. Cardiff Devils bench coach Neil Francis received a 5-game suspension, 1 for the original match penalty and 4 additional games that can be appealed against. Max Brabia received a total of 8 games, 5 for the cross-checking match penalty and a further 3 games for leaving the dressing room to join an altercation. His teammate Devon Didiamiti received a 3-game suspension for leaving the dressing room to join an altercation. Would you believe it? There was actually other games going on tonight as well, not just this one here in Cardiff. The Nottingham Panthers were finishing off their 3-game Scottish weekend. They were taking on the 5 Flyers, and the Dundee Stars, well, they were trying to make it 7 wins in a row against the Braehead Clan.
It was a cracking first period in Dundee, 32 shots between the two sides, and the home side went ahead. Ryan and Bagran did well, good piece of skill from Wirral, and an 8th of the year for him, 7:46 gone. Dundee Stars 1, Braehead Clan 0 was the score. The second goal was right down the middle. Braehead were cut open, and jumping on gleefully to the pass, it's McLean for a 6th of the year. Baxter with the pass, Riopol with the other assist. 17:58 gone, 2-0 to Dundee. They were very much in control, even though they were outshot. Now, Braehead defensively were at 6s and 7s. This pass here from Krestanovic is snuffed out. It's worked well, Ryan and Wirral this time, and there's Baxter all alone at the back door. A 3rd of the year for him. He started it, he finished it, and it is so much so. Dundee in control. Braehead really were up against things. Still, the scoring kept going the home side's way. This time, Bagran and Ryanen assisting on a power play goal, and it is Baxter all alone at the back door. No one is marking him, so we're not even at the halfway point. It is 4-0 to the Dundee Stars. But the visitors needed to get back into things, and they did. Krestanovic, fresh from the birth of his first child, so that is 4-1. But really, Dundee just went back down the other end. McLean and player coach Hutchins this time. What a finish from Bowen. 5-1, and we have 51 minutes and 21 seconds gone. You see that is a lovely finish. So 5-1, but 30 seconds later, Braehead gave themselves a chance. This time, Zajac and Miller combining, working well, especially Miller, who took his time to make that pass, and Krestanovic gets his 2nd goal of the game. Some hope maybe for Braehead. They began to perhaps believe maybe it was too late, but they did get another goal, and this one came less than 40 seconds later. Goldie with the final touch just in front of the net. But it's 7 home wins in a row now for the Stars. Final score, Dundee 5, Braehead 3. A third game in 3 nights for the Nottingham Panthers. Previous victories over Braehead and Edinburgh, and then the 300-strong contingent from Nottingham descended on the 5 Flyers. Good work from Anthony Stewart left-hand side, and then Lakovic and Myers get the assist as Stewart gets the final touch. A 4th of the year for him, 6:37 gone. Nottingham were ahead. Now, the Flyers beat Sheffield Steelers a couple of weeks ago, but since then, they've lost 4 straight. But they got back into the game. Jason Pitton setting up the chance there for Hogg, and 9th of the year for him. He made no mistake in front of Kowalski. 1-1 hockey game, 8:27 gone. 5 Flyers outshot Nottingham 10-9 in the first period. They got stronger as it went on. This time, McAlpine and Gunn combine, and Wilson steps out from behind, his first goal of the season. So the 5 Flyers, they led at the end of the first period by 2-1. But Nottingham had a good second period. Give away from the Flyers, they can't clear the halfway line. And then Francis sets up the chance here for Galavan, right-hand side. A lovely goal from him, 3rd of the year. So 1:01 gone in period 2. We're level at 2-2. And Nottingham right back in the game with things all square. Things improved for Nottingham as the second period went on. They outshot the Flyers 13-2. Again, the puck given away right-hand side. Ling and Francis nearly get in each other's way. But then Francis goes towards the net. Ling tries to get there. The final touch this time from Francis. He scores after getting an assist on the second goal. He scores the 3rd goal. So Nottingham ahead after slipping behind. The Flyers coming forward, though, in the 3rd period, looking to try and get back into the game. But it's a break, a 2-on-1 break from Nottingham. Lakovic sets up Levis, a save made by Brian Pitton. And Lakovic follows up and gobbles up the rebound. 4-2 Nottingham. 54-16 the time of that goal, and Nottingham responded again straight away immediately to get their 5th goal. This time it was defence to attack in, well, perfect motion. Francis going at speed down the right-hand side, cuts inside a challenge, and that is a great solo goal. Hogg got his 2nd to pull another back for the 5 Flyers, but that's as good as it got for them. Final score, 5-3, Nottingham 5.
Results from Friday night then in the Elite Ice Hockey League saw the Belfast Giants 1, the Sheffield Steelers 5, and the Braehead Clan 1, the Nottingham Panthers 5. Jumping forward to Saturday the 27th of October, a 5-0 win for the Panthers in Edinburgh, a 5-4 home victory for the Stingrays against the 5 Flyers, and in the second of 2 games, the Belfast Giants overturned that Friday defeat to beat the Steelers 3-0. At the Skydome Arena in Coventry, it was the Blaze 2, the Devils 1. Then on Sunday, our game of the week saw the Cardiff Devils go down 3-2 at home to the Coventry Blaze. The Dundee Stars beat the Braehead Clan by 5-3, and the 5 Flyers go down at home 5-3 to the Nottingham Panthers. So following this weekend's games, let's take a quick look at the Challenge Cup groups. Braehead, Dundee, Fife and Belfast look like they're making it through to the quarterfinals in Group A, whilst Coventry move to the top of Group B with their 4-point weekend over Cardiff. Nottingham and Sheffield certain to go through. The Hull Stingrays and the Cardiff Devils will fight for that final quarter-final place. League standings see the Nottingham Panthers, after their 6-point triple-header weekend in Scotland, lead the way on 19 points from the Sheffield Steelers. Down at the bottom, it's Edinburgh and Fife, still battling for a playoff spot. So the league table starting to take shape, and those 6 points that the Nottingham Panthers picked up this weekend, seeing them on top of the Elite Ice Hockey League. Right, looking ahead, fixtures for next week. Let's take a look. Starting on Saturday the 3rd of November, sees the game between the Braehead Clan and the Cardiff Devils, Coventry Blaze and the Belfast Giants, Dundee versus the Sheffield Steelers, and the 5 Flyers in that Edinburgh derby taking on the Capitals. 24 hours later, another battle between the Sheffield Steelers and the Nottingham Panthers. The Coventry Blaze entertain the Belfast Giants, Edinburgh Capitals take on the Cardiff Devils, and the Hull Stingrays meet the 5 Flyers. You'll be able to see all the action, all the hits, all the goals and any incidents on next week's show, Friday the 9th of November, 11 p.m. on Sky Sports 4. That show is repeated the following morning, Saturday the 10th of November, again on Sky Sports 4 at 7 a.m. and 12 p.m. Well, that's all we have time for this week. We said it was a Halloween special and it got a little bit spooky, didn't it, tonight here in Cardiff. Folks, the Elite Ice Hockey League, it's entertaining, it's exciting, and you should go and take in one of those games next week. Until our show next week, back in the studio, we'll say goodnight.